Good evening. This is Maestro Martello with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast yet again with what I imagine is going to be a freaking awesome game. Our first player is Osinski as the Chaos Lord. The Chaos Lord is a tanky melee hero. He carries a Twin Link Bolter in his hand and this enormous demon sword. Starts off with power melee, can disrupt melee units with kill the weak. Has some decent range damage. Good hero overall. His teammate is Noisy, short for Noisy Elmo, shooting at this Warlock point blank and gets knocked over because he brought a gun to a sword fight. But the Plague Champion is a ranged hero, or at least that's how he starts out. You can get some melee weapons with him. He can be upgraded to become very tanky. He can also repair. His worship heals allied troops. Interesting hero. I don't personally get him very well, but some people certainly make him use him. On the other side of things, we have Crazyman. He's a Dawn of War 2 caster. He's playing as this tiny orc Mekboy. Looks like such a little guy compared to pretty much everything else. He is a teleporting, a harassment hero. Has some interesting stuff later on. He can also heal. He supports vehicles. And finally, the Warlock we saw before, shooting a destructor right there. This is Tyger. Wow, look at all that. I don't know if you can see that. There was like a ton of +4s. He apparently killed everything. And Noisy is not happy. But the Warlock, he is a spellcasting and offensive melee hero, good at both fighting as well as casting offensive spells. We saw him being extremely offensive right there, and Noisy was very offended. I wish I had caught that a little better. But yeah, we got high-level 2v2s right here. A lot of good players here, especially Tyger and Noisy are extremely good. Crazy and Osinski are pretty good too. Looks like the red team definitely came out on top of those early engagements with the losses that Noisy took. And Tyger being an absolute beast. I've talked about that before about he's absolutely beastly player, and I think he's the kind of player who doesn't really have an off switch. So no matter whenever he plays, it's like you got to be on his level or you're going to get destroyed. Which I don't think he ever goes to. But I could be wrong. Maybe he would say something different. But that's the perception that I've had based on watching him the few times that I've played in team games with or against him. So red team, they did come out on top of that engagement, but they are just now capturing their power node and putting a node on it. Double Chaos is always fun, always. There's something about Double Chaos that I personally find is very tough. It seems like a very powerful team to me, or at least a very annoying team to deal with. And luckily I'm usually the one playing with Double Chaos team. Chaos Space Marines coming in here. They are, of course, going to try to force melee the Shooter Boys because that will make them win hugely over the Shooter Boys. In melee, they will just win hugely over the Shooter Boys. In range, it's a little more complicated, but there's only one Chaos Space Marine squad right here compared to these double Shooter Boys. The Shooter Boys will die a bit more easily, but they will also be dealing a ton more damage. Those double Shooter Boys, still the stable build for orcs in the Elite mod. Even though they've been slightly nerfed, but really not nerfed enough, I guess. This Chaos Heretic, I thought the Mekboy might try to force melee there, and I thought the Shooter Boys would also shoot at that Heretic. That lone, it's actually the Aspiring Champion on the Heretic squad, making the difference between losing the squad and keeping it alive. So Osinski right there, we had not gotten the Aspiring Champion Heretic, and here we have another lone Aspiring Champion. Once again, that Aspiring Champion is often the difference between keeping a Heretic squad alive and losing it. Of course, you bleed a ton if you lose all of those models, but it is nice to keep those Heretic squads alive so you don't have to repurchase a new one entirely, and then it's at level 1, whereas Noisy's Heretics, almost level 2, since he's got a little bit of experience for his own, but he's running this one out with Noisy's running this Heretic squad out with only 4 members. With only 4 members, he's definitely not going to beat the Howling Banshees. I guess he just wants to stall them a little bit. He might just be really concerned about trying to save his power farm as much as he can. Since there are some times where you just have to weigh the consequences of leaving your base at partial health or letting yourself get gen rushed. And right now it looks like Tyger being absolutely beastly. He's putting a ton of pressure on Noisy. Noisy is basically pinned in his base, and he also has very few units. So he's shooting with his Havoc right here, but the Havoc at maximum range, although suppressing the Banshees, does not do a whole lot of damage. As you can see, they're losing health pretty slowly. In fact, they're regenerating health. They do retreat out of there, but Havoc at maximum range, not going to do much damage to the Banshees, and suppression doesn't actually affect melee damage, so they would still be doing a lot of damage to those generators. Crazyman now has a Luda squad out. The Ludas have been buffed a bit in the Elite mod. As far as I can see, they kind of seem to perform roughly on the level of a Shuriken Camp in terms of their damage and suppression these days. Which is a good thing. There were some people, I think, said that the Shuriken was probably, at least in retail, it was the best of the suppression teams overall. It's used a lot both for suppression and damage. We see a Shuriken weapon team here as well. Okay, Space Marines from Osinski have Eternal War. He lost his Heretic somehow, so that the Aspiring Champion, unfortunately this time, did not save him. But these Shooter Boys, I think, in a little bit of trouble right here with the Chaos Lord right in there. I think Chaos Lord went to pull the weak right there, but he missed. Crazyman was microing away. Now we just have, it looks like a cluster of units right here. And a ton of Howling Banshees are dying. Can the Chaos Lord finish him off? I don't know. That Chaos Lord did not finish off that last one. These Shooter Boys, one of the great things about the Shooter Boys is that even when they only have 3 or 5 models, the majority of the damage comes from 3 of the models. This Plague Champion has to go. It's been upgraded to the Bile Spear. It's an interesting choice. Now, there are some things he can do with that Bile Spear. Obviously, if he gets close to a regenerator farm, he can bash generators very quickly with that thing. 12.65 flame DPS. That is more than a flamer on a tactical marine squad or the flamers on guardsmen. It also gives him the Bilious Discharge ability, which definitely can be used very well on the Banshees. Basically a snare that works on units, very good against melee units. And then Howling Banshees being as glassy as they are, once they get snared, they should be taking enough range fire from, I guess, the Plague Champions' Bile Spear that they would probably get forced out. Chaos Lord also has been upgraded to the Combi Flame, another Chaos Tier 1 Commander melee weapon, one of the best in my opinion. Certainly, it's, I mean, out of Tier 1 weapons, it's probably just one of the best Tier 1 weapons, period. It does have some scaling issues against some races, but overall, it's still an extremely good weapon, even for what it does in Tier 1. These Chaos Heretics, wow! Playing with fire there, I think that could have been a risk for losing the entire squad. I think if it weren't for the Havoc suppressing that Shuriken weapon team, I think that entire Heretic squad would have been dead. As it is, they're now almost at level 2. Slugger Boy is still with 6 models, even though at only about 60% health. Now, the Chaos Lord is a very good hero, but Orcs are very good at dealing with tanky melee heroes, in part because they have these massive range fire support. In particular, Crazyman, he fully upgraded his Shooter Boys. He's got big shooters on both of them and shooter knobs. The shooter knob is a detector, so that's usually the reason you get it. But some people will just get it because they want that overwhelming DPS. You get that twin-linked shooter from the shooter knob, giving it some more DPS. And it's not a huge amount of DPS by itself, but it's adding on to a unit that already does a huge amount of DPS. And right now, this Luda squad right here is not actually doing that good of a job suppressing these Chaos Raptors. And these Raptors actually, yeah, I mean, at that point he probably should have gotten around there, but these Raptors, certainly with that Lightning Claw on the Aspiring Champion, just having that Aspiring Champion is going to be absolutely destroying the Shooter Boys, so I think it's a good choice, particularly against the Mekboy, usually one of the biggest risks to trying to use jump units like Assault Space Marines or Raptors against Orcs. He's having to deal with, you know, like a Warlock, who's going to come back and disrupt those units, as well as killing them, bleeding models. On the other hand, the Mekboy cannot really threaten melee units that way, so I think Raptors would be a very good choice here against Crazyman. Although Noisy really hurting right now. He also lost another unit. It was a Havoc. It's not good for him. But it looks like someone over here, this is Osinski, getting a full generator bash, and then even going for the decap. I actually think he should have, right now he's stopping the decap because he wants to attack the Luda. And now he also has a beamy Def Gun mech. So I like that overlapping setup team play. That's something that, oh, and the Noise Marines might go down. Yes, that's going to be dead Noise Marines. Wow. Good play by Crazyman. So there's, when you get two setup teams, you can do an overlapping suppression arcs where you cover your front setup team with another setup team. The thing is that requires getting two setup teams. Getting two setup teams is certainly something that has its weaknesses. Between you're not actually getting a whole lot of damage. You're getting more suppression and control than actual damage. Additionally, you can be very at risk for, well, it has its limitations. And I like that. Ooh, let the Galaxy burn right there. Going to be absolutely devastating against the Orcs. But I like that Crazyman is using his Mekboy as his second suppression team. And I like getting that, well, not that I play the Mekboy that much, but I like that extra functionality that you can get out of the Mekboy by making him a suppression. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure he's the only Chaos Raptor's going to die. I think the Mekboy is the... Oh, Chaos Raptors just get out of there alive. I think Tyger could have finished them. And we now have something from... Oh, that Shuriken Cannon could be dead as well. But I think the Mekboy is the only hero who can actually function as a suppression team. These Howling Banshees are now in a bit of trouble. We're going to see probably some Pestilence Strike. No, Touch of Nurgle, even worse. Even worse for the Banshees, that is. But these Chaos Heretics now gotta go through. The Aspiring Champion, he's gonna be dead. That was kind of a funny end to Noisy's Heretics, but also very sad because he lost those Heretics. But that Aspiring Champion died. Kind of exploded those Dark Reapers. But these Dark Reapers, man, they're going to be really doing a number. Great choice against power armor units. What do we have here? Triple autocannon Havocs. Wow. Now this is going to be ridiculous. I've played Osinski before, and I've seen him do double autocannon Havocs. And I've lost squads just from double autocannon Havocs. Lost squads and vehicles to it. Now with triple, yeah, that's going to be really nasty. I foresee Crazyman losing some of his units, particularly some of these shooter boys. But the only problem right now is that Osinski, I think, really does not have great positioning on these Havocs. They're too static. I mean, they're setup teams, so they're supposed to be static. But they're in a position where they aren't doing anything right now. They aren't shooting any units, and there are plenty of units to be shot at. There are also generators to be shot at. And with triple autocannon Havocs, you could probably kill an entire generator farm in 20 seconds, possibly even less. Howling Banshees in a little bit of trouble. The Plague Cloud from Noisy Ammo, taking out as many of those Howling Banshees as he can. Will it wipe the squad? No, because these front models just barely get out of there. Oh, but the Rangers are going to die. No! So another situation where a unit could have died. These level 2 Rangers were at 2 health, and those, I think, just a pistol shot from those Chaos Raptors would have finished them off. Noisy communicating to his teammate that he is getting absolutely wrecked, which is sad for him, and especially he's got, and Tyger's got a huge army. This Plague Champion cannot really just approach him. He's going to try to do it anyway, and he doesn't care. He gets a stun, he's just walking in here. Now, that Pestilent Strike ability will reduce his range damage, so he can actually take some range damage. If he can get a wipe on that Shuriken, that would be a nice little victory for him, but it's not going to happen. That Chaos Lord went down here. So Osinski taking some hits now. 251 victory points to 352. Now I don't know. Noisy is right here by the generator farm. I don't know if that's the best use of his time right now or of his units. Actually switches back to the Bile Spear. I think he would actually be better off going for a cap on the VP, or even on the requisition point. Well, now that he has the Biosphere back, he is going to destroy generators. And even with these units right there, he actually destroyed one generator and got this one almost down to dead. But I think his Chaos Raptors could have just maybe gone to cap that point. Just because with his current build, there's only so much he can do with how few units he has. And he really needs to try to build up an army again. And he is doing that. He's got some Bloodletters, he's obviously got his Chaos Raptors, and he has some new Heretics. Some more Let the Galaxy Burn. Absolutely incredible war gear. I believe it has actually been nerfed in the Elite mod, which is kind of funny considering it's still ridiculously good. This Shooter Boy squad will actually get out of there alive. I thought there was some chance it might get wiped. But that Let the Galaxy Burn is still an extremely good war gear, or it's an extremely good ability. I mean, Armor of the Inferno is very important. And it actually has been nerfed in the Elite mod. Something like it has one less fireball, and I think the damage is actually nerfed again too. But still extremely good. Extremely good against Shooter Boys, especially good against Imperial Guard. This Plague Champion is in a lot of trouble. He just might go down here, but I think the Bilious Discharge on these Banshees pretty much saved him. Chaos Lord chasing around again, fully kitted out. Armor of the Inferno, obviously, we've been seeing that. The Combi Flamer we've been seeing, and he does have the Demonic Facade. This is an ability that just passively reduces the damage to the units around him, and we can see that indicated by the red circles and a Let the Galaxy Burn right there. Great Let the Galaxy Burn. Tyger also had fantastic reflexes there, because usually what happens with Let the Galaxy Burn is it's not just great for the damage it does, the initial damage, the damage over time, but then the fact that it disrupts, it knocks units down in an area. And Tyger at least dodged the disruption. And that's great because it disrupts your opponent's units, and then they're getting disrupted, and then they're lying down in a bunch of fire because you get damage over time in that area. So Noisy, I think Noisy could stand to get another unit maybe. Just another tier 2 unit. Havoc maybe could be a little risky. He might be going. He does have a lot of resources. Maybe we'll go straight to tier 3 since he can almost go to tier 3 himself. Crazyman and Tyger obviously already in there. They've been doing a little better on their unit preservation. These double jump units from Noisy I think are going to be working out fairly well. Chaos Raptors and the Bloodletters. Chaos Raptors level 3, which is a great thing. And the Bloodletters, of course, especially since he has to deal with that Guardian Weapon team, which is itself level 3. He can also use it on these Shooter Boys, as basically just on the Shooter Boys, especially this Aspiring Champion and Raptor Squad will be absolutely amazing against the Shooter Boys. You can really see it bucking down to half health. Where did the Bloodletters go? Bloodletters, I feel like they could have gone in there too. As it is, but we have a flank from Tyger. And Heretic's gonna go down. Huge amount of range DPS, and Noisy is also getting a little bit doubled. And especially, that's gonna be especially tough for him when he already has much less, when he already has a much smaller army. Now in particular, Noisy has, at this point he has pretty much an exclusively melee army. He's getting hit by a lot of focus fire. Double Shooter Boys, now Dire Avengers, Rangers. But Noisy at least says, I keep killing his commanders. That's at least what he's getting there. Level 3 Warlock from Tyger. Another Let the Galaxy Burn, and we have knobs already for Crazyman. Getting upgraded to have those huge hammers. Osinski getting to level tier 3. Noisy, I think, should not go to tier 3 just yet. He's also floating massive resources. I think Noisy, he does go to tier 3. He's going to go to tier 3. I don't know what he's going to get out of tier 3. Not his choices. You can get a Predator tank. That would be the cheapest and the one that can kill the soonest. And then there is, of course, the Command Raider Phobos. Generator Bash going down. It's definitely very tough for Osinski and Noisy. It does seem like they're certainly not practice in a lot of trouble right now. We need Pestilence Strike from that Plague Champion. He's switching back to the Biosphere. Very, very interesting play from Noisy. He's actually switching back to the Biosphere. Oh, and great! Let the Galaxy Burn as an anti-garrison move. Yes, you can do that. The Plague Champion, he seems to be using switching back and forth between the Plague Fist and the bow spewer, and he is going to kill that shuriken cannon. Yes, shuriken cannon explodes while it's still in the building. Beautifully done by Noisy. So Noisy having trouble with his unit preservation, but his Plague Champion play is very good, and he's switching back to the Plague Fist again. And there, I think that was the Aura of Decay ability, knocking back. This is actually some beautiful Plague Champion play, at least the use of the hero itself, although obviously Noisy's unit preservation hasn't been very good, but he has been getting a double. Raptors back here. I wonder if we'll see maybe some Meltas on them. Fire Prisms are an extremely tough unit to deal with, especially when your opponent has a big standing army and you don't. And even if they do, it's just, even if you do have a good army to go deal with it. Touch of Nurgle from, these are, wow, Touch of Nurgle, use of Touch of Nurgle on Osinski's Heretics might just take out these Slugger Boys. I think we need some more. Oh no, maybe let the Galaxy Burn was on cooldown, or maybe he gauged that he would lose his Chaos Lord. He would use Let the Galaxy Burn while the knobs were there. So a double cap for Crazyman and Tyger. They've certainly been doing a bit better for most of the game. I feel like I haven't even seen much of Osinski's Chaos Havocs. Those triple autocannon Havocs. And yes, we do see those Melta Raptors, and I think this will be a dead Fire Prism. Combination of the Melta Raptors and the Chaos Predator. Well played by Noisy. Just has to watch out for an Eldritch Storm. Jumps out of there, and the Chaos Predator also manages to dodge the Eldritch Bolts. But will it be able to dodge these knobs? No, that is going to be a dead Chaos Predator. So a completely wasted Eldritch Storm, or was it? Maybe just based on where the Eldritch Storm was, that really pressured Noisy to drive his Predator inside, and ultimately, I guess, kind of lured him into the knobs, which Tyger may not have done that unintentionally, but the effect certainly worked out very well. This is a little... I didn't agree with that use of Let the Galaxy Burn, but we do have a level 9 Chaos Lord. The damage is absolutely ridiculous. But I think Chaos Lord should save Let the Galaxy Burn for the Shooter Boys rather than the Slugger Boys. Since I think the Shooter Boys generally going to have a little more impact. The Sluggers right now I think are more supplemental than anything else. They're just a little something nice extra when the real melee force for Crazyman are going to be the knobs. Crazyman's Mekboy does have the battery pack. I thought we were going to see that. Basically just allows them to heal the knobs, makes them even better than they already are. Bloodletters are phasing out into the war. And we actually saw that was the destructive strike from the Chaos Lord. So that's an ability that comes with the Chaos Lord. The Abyss of Chaos. Where is the Abyss of Chaos? It is right here. And it is not but these Slugger Boys, look at that triple havoc. Alright, so it did not kill the Slugger Boys, but it certainly put on a good show. We have a new Fire Prism out from Tyger, which not a bad choice, except for the fact that he's going to get hit again by a Melt Bomb. Maybe it really is a bad choice. And with some Bloodletters right here, the Bloodletters are going to get knocked down. The Plague Champion is chasing after it. It looks like the Plague Champion, or Tyger, is also and wow, yet another Fire Prism down for Noisy Elmo. So Noisy now recovering pretty well. Needs to be careful with those Raptors. The Raptors have been doing so well. They're now level 4. This Plague Champion has also been doing very well. We've seen some great warrior switching. Another Let the Galaxy Burn over here. So the Plague Champion routinely switching out from the Plague Fist and the Bile Spear, and then also between the Mucus Discharge and the Icon of Nurgle. I haven't even seen much of the Icon of Nurgle. It looks like Osinski wiped the Shooter Boy squad, so it's definitely putting some pressure on Crazyman. Osinski with some good unit preservation, definitely making things, keeping them in the game. And now suddenly it's the red team that does not have too many units. They've still got the VP lead from most of their early victories. They also have bigger power farms, and I'd say economically they're doing better map control. Wow, plenty of knobs going down. And we have a Chaos Shrine of Nurgle. We have a Corn Shrine right over here. That's a very interesting positioning on this Corn Shrine. I think Osinski's idea here is that the Bloodletters spawned by the Corn Shrine will go and attack anything going for this VP. And I think part of what's keeping, I guess part of what may be keeping Osinski and Noisy in this game is that these Chaos Havocs are pretty much going to completely deny any captures on this VP. Noise Marine's out for Noisy. Taking quite a few hits. They will reinforce off this shrine, I think. I'm surprised to see Noisy winning this game, but he does now have a level 9 Lake Chain Chaos. Level 10 Chaos Lord. Don't see quite those levels on the red team heroes. One of the great things about Chaos Heroes is that in a crazy team game, especially against races like Orcs, they really can level up a ton. And a level 10 Chaos Lord, there's actually really nothing unusual about that at all. But mostly just pointed out just because of how effective that makes the Chaos Lord is really awe-inspiring. Just think how good the Chaos Lord is to begin with, and then how good he is when he's getting all those damage benefits, or just all the statistical benefits from being on the gun. Looks like we have a big red team counterattack, Battle Wagon, and the knobs. Unfortunately, I'd say right now, Osinski and Noisy don't really have great tools to deal with that Battle Wagon, and the Battle Wagon is a very tough unit to deal with. Banshees, Howling Banshees might just go down. They are derping in retreat. What is this Exarch doing? Tyger loses his Banshees, very unfortunately, considering it looked like they were just standing there. Certainly going to be a helpful victory from Osinski and Noisy. Banshees at any level are extremely tough to deal with, and I'm sure those Banshees have a few levels as well. But now I think, wow, if it weren't for that plate chain, and we have a Las Cannon turret. Wow, you hardly ever see that. This Slugger Boy, I think, will die, though, from the autocannon fire. Yes, he does. Oh, and another Eldritch Storm on Osinski's autocannons. So I think one of those autocannons just died outright. The other two survived. So it's not bad. I mean, the autocannons, of course, would be one answer that the blue team would have to this Battle Wagon, and it would be putting out a lot of damage. But that Battle Wagon is very fast, and the autocannons, of course, have no snare whatsoever. Now our rocks. I think the Bloodletters, I think, will the Bloodletters... Oh, the Bloodletters phase into the warp. Very good reaction. That's actually one of the reasons why nuking Bloodletters is actually not such a great choice. Because they can just phase out into the warp and become invincible for that period of time. I think Plague Marines are a good choice for dealing with the Battle Wagon. Plague Marines don't really do a whole lot of damage, but the most threatening thing about this Battle Wagon, well, not the most threatening thing, but one of the things that makes it so good is its speed. It just has the best speed of any super unit. It can be really hard to catch. That it can use that speed to pursue, and also use it to get itself out of a bad situation that a unit like a Land Raider or a Baneblade just wouldn't even be able to. Just times when you would lose a Baneblade or a Land Raider, you would actually still keep a Battle Wagon alive. We now have a Las Cannon Chaos Predator from Osinski. Certainly a very good choice. Las Cannon Predators, definitely one of the hardest sources of PP in the game. We have another Imperial Abyss. Now that Imperial Abyss killed nothing. It didn't even kill a single knob model, but I actually agree with that Imperial Abyss because of the way right here it serves as a VP denial. As long as this is here for the, I don't know, maybe 10 or so seconds that Imperial Abyss is active, you just straight up can't catch the point. You can't capture the point. And that can make the Imperial Abyss very good as a way of, basically as a late game victory point denial, especially when you absolutely need it. When you're at a point where it's close to the end of the game and it could win you the game by doing it. Or in this case, where the blue team may have lost the game if they hadn't done that. So we have yet another Fire Prism. And now Noisy has not been keeping things alive. Noisy no longer has his level 4 Melter Raptor, so he does not have a very good answer to that Fire Prism at all. So this is going to be tough for the blue team to come back with, especially with Osinski, or rather, Noisy lacking units. they have inflicted some losses. Crazyman has definitely taken some losses though. Lost to Slugger Boys, lost to one shooter squad, but he also has a level 4 shooter squad. But some Chaos Terminators are going to make short work of shooter boys. Seer Council now out for Tyger. They are an elite tier 3 melee unit, extremely expensive, but certainly extremely good. I kind of think of them as Banshees with more health and more damage. And Banshees are extremely good, just in terms of their... I don't remember, I'm guessing their speed is 5.5. It seems fairly fast. It looks like this last cannon is starting to look down. I feel like it hasn't been done before. So it might have been a waste of resources. Chaos Terminators. Now, Chaos Terminators are going to be threatened extremely by Seer Council, but they will do very well against the Shooter Boys. It may actually be worth it to switch out and get some, switch out those Twinling Vultures and get some lightning bolts with those Chaos Terminators. Could be worth it. Although an autocannon will also help out quite a bit with this battle wagon, but the battle wagon is getting low on health. And if it looks like Crazyman is not paying attention, if he's not paying attention, he will lose this battle wagon for one more shot, and that is a dead battle wagon. Oh, he was trying to use that ability, and he loses the battle wagon completely unnecessarily. Now a looted tank is here. The looted tank, this could actually be a dangerous situation for the Chaos Predator. The Chaos Predator should win against the looted tank, but the Chaos Predator is also low on health. And something else went down. Oh, that might have just been the husk. And now I think that the Chaos Predator just needs to target the looted tank. Who will win here? So bad. Unfortunately, not very good use of that looted tank by Crazyman. And Osinski and Noisy just seem to be about back in this. Now with all these units here, I think they will absolutely get this cap off. The autocannon Havoc's going to completely deny a cap on this point. The Tyger is coming in for a flank. And all of Osinski's units are back in base. He needs to move the Predator back out. And what other tricks can they have up their sleeve? It's quite a close finish with... Now the Mekboy is going for a decap, so he will at least get the 1-to-1. Bloodletter's going to teleport in. They should at least force that Mekboy off there if they can... Oh, alright, the Mekboy teleports out. Now autocannon Havoc about to get obliterated by these knobs. That autocannon having a lot of trouble. Now the knob's going to go after the Chaos Predator, and something's dying over here. The Plague Champion will go down, sadly. That's not good for Noisy and Osinski. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Noisy could actually afford to just restore or revive his Plague Champion right now. Looks like Osinski or Noisy is even going for a cap over here, but he's not going to get it. So he decaps. It's actually a 1-0 in Osinski's and Noisy's favor. Very soon going to be a 2-0. I think Osinski and Noisy are going to take this game quite miraculously. I feel like Noisy never had more than 3 units in addition to his Plague Champion at any given time. Incredible finish from Noisy and Osinski. Hope you enjoyed the cast. Have a good night.